just the most charming people. The most charming people that you've ever seen. So let's begin with the Israeli finance minister, and let's see what he had to say. Okay?
תראו חברים, יש בעזה 2 מיליון נאצים שרוצים לשחוט, לאנוס ולרצוח כל יהודי. אני לא רוצה עכשיו להיכנס בהרחבה, מי שרוצה יכול למצוא פוסטים שכתבתי בעניין הזה ב-2017.
כן, מניח כל אחד ואחד מהם הוא נאצי שרוצה לרצוח יהודים שם ברצועת עזה? כל אחד ואחד? מתוך
הרוב המוחלט של אוכלוסיית עזה גדל.
Even the Israeli journalist who's interviewing him is like, you're full of it. I mean, they've just uncovered mass graves with people killed, executed with their hands tied behind their backs, blindfolded in Gaza, and he's calling Palestinians Nazis. Wow, that's just funny.
כן, מניח כל אחד ואחד מהם הוא נאצי שרוצה לרצוח יהודים שם ברצועת עזה? כל אחד ואחד? מתוך
הרוב המוחלט של אוכלוסיית עזה גדלה בתודעת שנאה תהומית למדינת ישראל. אני מזכיר לך.
So he says the vast majority of the population grew up with a visceral hatred towards the state of Israel. Yes, and how can you blame them? I mean, if I lived in Gaza, I'd also hate your fucking guts. You're despicable. Look how you treat people in Gaza, then you will know why they hate you. It's your behavior.
מדינת ישראל, אני מזכיר לך, 3/4 מהאוכלוסייה שם זו אוכלוסיית פליטי 48 שמוחזקת שם בכוונה, בעוני, בדלות, בצפיפות, במצוקה נוראית.
It's so funny because he says there, I remind you that a third of the population there are 1948 refugees. It's not true actually. It's 70% that are refugees. Okay? What does that mean, refugees? It means their homes were stolen from them by who? Was it the Chinese? Was it the Vietnamese? No. The Israelis. The Israelis came and stole their homes. So he knows, he's acknowledging, they hate us because we stole their homes. Thank you very much. That's a little bit of honesty for the first time.
זו אוכלוסיית פליטי 48 שמוחזקת שם בכוונה, בעוני, בדלות, בצפיפות, במצוקה נוראית, ואומרים להם...
Now the rest of the sentence, not so good. Held there on purpose. Who's holding them? Are they trapped in a bouncy castle? Did someone put them in a plastic cube? Where are they trapped? Are they trapped psychologically? What does this mean, trapped? Oh, you're trapping them. Oh, that's right. With drones, with ships, and with infantry. Yes, they are trapped. You are trapping them. And you are trapping them in poverty. You're right. So that's your fault. No one is forcing people in Gaza to stay in Gaza, except you.
מי שאשם במצוקה שלכם זה היהודים, הפתרון שלכם הוא ביפו, בחיפה, בעכו ובטבריה. לאורך זמן, או שאנחנו נשלוט שם, או שהאוכלוסייה המקומית תשלוט שם בעצמה, ולא חשוב אם יקראו לזה חמאס או משהו אחר, זה יהיה ארגון טרור. מי שרוצה לשמור על הביטחון של מדינת ישראל ושל תושבי הדרום, אנחנו צריכים כרגע לשלוט שם מבצעית וצבאית. וכדי שזה יקרה אנחנו צריכים לשלוט בסיוע ההומניטרי, עד שנחזר את חמאס טוטלית ונוכל לפתח כוחות מקומיים נתונים שיחליפו אותה. כל עוד חמאס חי ובועט, אף אחד לא יעשה עבורנו את העבודה, זה רק אנחנו. וכל עוד אנחנו לא עושים את זה, אז חמאס עושה את זה, אנחנו במו ידינו חותרים תחת מטרת המלחמה של מיטוט שלטון חמאס.
Okay, so let's just rewind a tiny bit. He says that they need to control the flow of humanitarian aid. Yes? In order to control Gaza operationally and militarily, they need to control the humanitarian aid. What does that mean? Oh, I'll translate. It means that in order for us to exert control over Gaza, we need to starve them. We need to be able to decide whether they eat and whether they drink or not. That's what this means, right? Why else would you control? Like, what relation does humanitarian aid have to Hamas, right? Humanitarian aid is humanitarian because it means it goes to human beings. That's the only condition. Are you a bear? Are you a lizard? Are you a cat? Oh, you're a human. Here's the fucking aid because we care about you because you're a human being. You have human rights, right? You're Hamas. You're this and that. I don't give a crap. You're a human being. You're in dire need of food, of medicine. Here's the humanitarian aid. No, only Israel would deny someone humanitarian aid because to them, if you're not Jewish, you're not a human being. Yes? And so for them, it's a tool. It's a tool. It's not a human right, it's a tool. We can starve people, make them angry, and then they will get rid of Hamas for us. We control them through their stomachs. This is the Israeli mentality, the Nazi, Zio-Nazi mentality. And this thing with local forces. What local forces? What What do you think this is? A game? You know, it's a chessboard or something? Moderate forces. Who's going to be moderate force for you? Maybe the PLO, you know, today. Yeah. But see, West Bank is not Gaza. West Bank is bad, but it's not like Gaza. You know, we're talking about different nature of occupation. They're both occupied, but in Gaza, man, you know, Gaza doesn't have the checkpoints the West Bank has, but it has the siege. Do you understand? It's the same sword. It's just the other side of it, right? I don't mean as in it's a double-edged sword. It's a bad sword either way. You're getting screwed. In the West Bank, you have checkpoints imposed on you, and you can't even move. And in Gaza, you're being starved and bombed. So you're getting screwed either way. But no one is going to come out and start working for you or defeat Hamas for you. I mean, this is lunacy. I mean, it's really desperate, honestly. It's so desperate. And he says that they have to control Gaza militarily and operationally. I mean, what objectives have Israel, you know, achieved in the last 6 months for them to be able to state these kinds of goals? There are no objectives that they've achieved. There are none to speak of. Absolutely nothing. So, you know, this is really aiming high, so to speak. I mean, he's really wishing for the moon at this point.
נתונים שיחליפו אותה. כל עוד חמאס חי ובועט, אף אחד לא יעשה עבורנו את העבודה, זה רק אנחנו. וכל עוד אנחנו לא עושים את זה, אז חמאס עושה את זה, אנחנו במו ידינו חותרים תחת מטרת המלחמה של מיטוט שלטון חמאס.
Again, destroying Hamas. With what? You can't do anything. You're not destroying Hamas. I'm sorry. And it's funny because he acknowledges in another sentence, he kind of acknowledges that if it's not Hamas, it will be somebody else. That's correct. Because even if you get rid of Hamas, okay, hypothetically, good, actually. You know why? Because you will have another resistance group that'll be even stronger, and they'll get even more done than Hamas. That is the natural order of things. It's the natural progression of things, because you can defeat a group. You can defeat, you know, Black September. You can go and defeat, or rather pacify the PLO. And guess what? You're going to get Lion's Den. You're going to get PIJ. You're going to get Qassam brigades, and they're going to wipe the floor with you. And they are. So go ahead, destroy Hamas with whatever imaginary means you have, and let's see what else comes of that. But bad news for you. Let me show you another clip from Israeli media, which is really, I mean, these people are so refined and elegant and just so tasteful, honestly. The tact they possess is admirable.
טוב, התמונות אתמול שהכי מרגיזות שראיתי תקופה ארוכה זה היה תמונות של העזתים מבלים בחוף הים, ואני מחבר את זה לעוד תמונות שראינו אתמול, שעוד יותר מרתיחות ולא נותנות מרגוע לנשמה, זה התמונות של ירדן ביבס. ויש איזשהו קו מחבר בין הדברים האלה, כי בעוד ירדן ביבס, רק על...
Oh no! Gazans on the beach? How infuriating. My heart aches for this poor man. He saw Gazans on the beach. How dare they enjoy life while they're trying to wipe them out? How dare they? Do you know how insulting that is to the Israelis? Do you know how offensive that is to enjoy life on the beach when the Israelis are working so hard? They're sweating to try and wipe out the Palestinians. How dare the Palestinians enjoy the beach for a few minutes? How fucking dare they? You know, they should starve and they should be killed and do whatever the Israelis want them to do, because anything else makes this man cry. I mean, have you ever heard of such nonsense? And it gets worse, right? He goes on and it just gets worse.
על זה שמשכו אותו בזקן, עוד לא חטפו, עוד לא הרגו את משפחתו, או חטפו אותם, רק על זה שמשכו לו בזקן ועשו לו סלפי, ועשו לו את כל הדברים האלה, מגיע לאנשים האלה שם מוות. מוות קשה, מוות בייסורים, ובמקום זה אנחנו רואים אותם מבלים בים,
Oh, okay, so he says these people, right? If you say they about Jews, they will hit the roof, but Palestinians are these people. He says these people there deserve a hard death and agonizing death. I mean, you have to laugh because his frustration, it's like some nerd just like, you know, losing their shit and banging on the table. I mean, he looks like Himmler, and he is Himmler. You know, this is a reincarnation of Bismarck right there. These people say deserve a hard agonizing death, yeah?
בייסורים, ובמקום זה אנחנו רואים אותם מבלים בים, ובסטלבט שלהם, ובכיף שלהם. האנשים האלה, אין שם חפים מפשע ברצועת עזה, אין שם, הם הצביעו חמאס, הם רוצים...
There are no innocents in Gaza. Jesus, I mean, listen, man, you know what? I'll make you a deal. If there are no innocents in Gaza, what does that make you in Israel? I mean, if these people are guilty of whatever whatever you claim, what does that make you? These people, he says, there are no innocent people in the Gaza Strip, none. They voted for Hamas. They voted for Hamas. They want Hamas. When did they vote for Hamas? I mean, most people in Gaza are children, so they're not even 18. When did they vote for Hamas? The election was in 2006. So they either were too young or they weren't even born. Who voted for Hamas? Is there a law in Israel that says, you know, if you vote for Hamas, you deserve the death penalty? Maybe there is. I don't know what kind of backwards things they have. But he really seems upset. I feel so bad for him, you know, seeing all these Gazans on the beach. That must be really distressing for him. The poor man, right? How dare they? How dare they?
חמאס הם חגגו, הם חילקו סוכריות, חלקם ירקו על גופות של שני לוק, חלקם עשו סלפים חטופים שלנו, אין שם חפים מפשע, והעובדה שהם עכשיו...
They took selfies with our abductees. Yeah, well, I mean, Israelis also film videos with their abductees. And there are far more of them. There are far more abductees being filmed, and there are far more Israelis doing this. Right? I've seen countless videos, and I've shown them to you, of Israelis filming themselves with a bus full of blindfolded Palestinian men and playing children's songs to mock them. But he is upset. I mean, Jesus Christ, his suit, this outfit he's wearing offends me. Never mind the shit coming out of his mouth. Also, people on the beach, what does he know? What does he know of what they're doing on the beach? What if they're homeless, you know, because you bombed most of their homes? Remember, most buildings in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. So you put them on the beach, maybe. You put them on the beach, Mr. Heinrich Yehuda Himmler.
שלנו אין שם חפים מפשע, והעובדה שהם עכשיו מבלים בים שנייה אחת. והעובדה שהם מבלים בים.
Look at that. The fact they are enjoying the beach instead of starving. So for him, it's like a Palestinian has to starve. That's it. Right? How dare they enjoy the beach when they're supposed to be starving? I mean, Jesus, do I have to explain it? I'm only doing it for the people who are listening instead of watching. But as Joseph requested. But seriously, this is so... I kind of like this guy in a sense. You know why? Because he brings this refreshing honesty that the Israelis so often lack in English. When they're speaking in Hebrew, they're so direct, and it's always the case, right? He's not that special, except for his disgusting outfit. But Israelis have such a refreshing honesty when they're speaking amongst themselves in Hebrew. Always, always, always. It's nothing like their crap in English. Because they don't expect you to go and watch a clip in Hebrew, but they'll come and speak to you and address you in English, right? Because that's propaganda. Here, this is Israel, like as pure as it gets, right? Straight up genocide. I want to massacre you. How dare you go to the beach? Maybe I put you on the beach. Doesn't matter. You should be starving right now. Go and die. That's it.
העובדה שהם מבלים בים, במקום לרעוב, במקום להיות מטורטרים, במקום לעבור איסורים קשים, במקום להתחבא מהפגזות, הם מבלים...
Look at that. Instead of being jerked around, being severely tormented, hiding from shelling, they are enjoying the beach. I mean, I honestly, I don't think you could even find a quote like this from a Nazi. I really mean that. I know my World War II history very well, and I don't think I've ever heard a Nazi official even speak like this in public. I mean, obviously we know what their behavior is, but it goes to show you how obnoxious the Israelis are, like how shameless they are.
קשים. במקום להתחבא מהפגזות, הם מבלים בחוף הים, זה בדיוק הסיפור שלנו.
אני אענה לך שני דברים, כי זאת תפיסתך.
וזאת תפיסתי, אני מכיר אותה שהיא קשה, אבל כשאדם רותח, אנחנו היינו צריכים לראות שם הרבה יותר נקמה, הרבה יותר נהרות של דם של עזתים, עד שהם יבואו.
אז שנייה.
יבואו למנהיגים שלהם ויגידו, תשחררו, כי אנחנו לא מסוגלים לסבול את זה יותר.
אז אני...
Jesus, did you see what he said at the end? He said there should be a lot more rivers of Gazans' blood. I mean, you know, let me explain something to you. There are a lot of Palestinians. There, even among you guys watching right now, many of you have lost family in Gaza, right? And even you wouldn't say something like this. This guy is offended because there are people on the beach in their own country, on their own land, and he wants rivers of their blood to flow. I mean, what is like satanic shit? This guy he needs help. But the problem is all of Israel needs help. He's not, this guy is not like some weird guy in Israel. No, he is Israel. He is saying what all other Israelis think and say. And not just say, they do, they act, they execute in you know, in the flesh. No pun intended. But I think it's funny, you know, he's just butthurt. He's really butthurt because he wants to be on that land. You know, for him, it's like he thinks this is his, right? He's got that colonial mentality. He thinks that he is owed the beach, that, you know, it should have a bunch of Israeli colonizers with their children running around and enjoying it. How dare they? You know, they've thrown them this small strip of land, but that's too much, right? There should be rivers of Gazans' blood, as he says, right? They should be starving and hiding from shelling. How dare they go to the beach? Jews should be on the beach, right? Nice Israeli colonizer Jews. No one else, especially not Gazans. He's just butthurt because they're losing the war, and you know, Palestinians love life. They love it, right? They love life. Arabs love life. But the problem is that Israelis love death and destruction. So they bring death and destruction to others. And then when they don't embrace it, they get angry. These are the people we're talking about. You know, I mean, nothing was, you know, mistranslated here. This is exactly what he said. I'll play you another clip now from the ever so eloquent Israeli ambassador in Britain, and let's take a look at what she had to say. I mean, it's a bit different now, the tone she takes, but it's still within the same vein, right?
Thrown on Israel, and barely no damage, and the people of Israel are safe. It's just because one reason: they didn't hit Israel, most of them, and just imagine how things would have looked if the missile that our defense secretary was showing to the world, defense minister Gallant was showing to the world. This is a 5-story size, 18 meters. This is huge missile. And think about it, you know, falling in the middle of a city like Jerusalem. We're now in beautiful scenery of Jerusalem, but look how populated it is. Just think about it, you know, hitting neighborhoods and people and children.
Oh, heaven pray. Heaven pray. Heaven pray. You mean a missile hitting you? Just like you hit people in Gaza? Oh, may never such a thing befall you, my lady. The arrogance, you know, it's like, we can bomb people in Gaza, we can bomb people in Syria, we can bomb people in Lebanon. We'll bomb them everywhere. But can you imagine a missile falling on beautiful Jerusalem that we have annexed illegally in violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions? I mean, this bitch. One of you in the comments said nothing Semitic about that bastard. Now you're talking about this Mr. Orange over here with the suit, right? If we can call that a suit. This guy over here. Well, guess what? I would say the same thing about her. There's nothing Semitic about her. I mean, you know, who knows? Honestly, you find people who could look like that easily. Even this atrocity here, you can find people who look like that in the Middle East, no problem. But the point is that we know from their names. We know their names. This guy is called Schlesinger. I mean, Jesus, talk about a European German name, right? Schlesinger, Yehuda Schlesinger. This guy's not from the Middle East. There's nothing Semitic about his ass. And same thing for her. They're a bunch of Europeans. They're colonizers. They're squatters with guns. This is you can quote me, right? This is what Israelis are. They're squatters with guns. Squatters with guns. A squatter, you know, somebody who goes and just occupies a house. They're squatters. That's what they are. And they're very racist, and they think that they are more human than others, right? It's not like they think Palestinians are human beings, but lesser human beings. No, they think that only they are human beings, right? Only Jews are human beings, and everybody else is not a human being. They're human animals, right? Isn't that what Gallant said, the one that she's quoting? I mean, just imagine if poor Gallant was showing a missile over Jerusalem instead of, you know, calling people in Gaza human animals and declaring that he's going to starve 2 million people, including 1 million children. Yeah, just imagine. What a tragedy. These people need to be slapped. They really need to be slapped. I mean, they need to have some common sense knocked into their goddamn heads. They're just evil people. They're really evil. They're absolutely evil. They're trash colonizers, nothing else. You know, there's nothing more for me to add, really. This kind of sums it up. And I picked these clips, this nice palette of Israeli society. You know, we have one minister, an ambassador, a journalist. They're all on television. They're all on radio. They're all just being as Israelis usually are, and declaring to you how they are superior, everybody else is inferior, they deserve everything, Palestinians should die. You know, that's it. That's it. It's just another day in occupied Palestine. Again, YouTube demonetized my channel because I'm not allowed to say naughty things about Israel. You know, telling the truth is forbidden. So if you are able to donate a few dollars on PayPal or on a monthly basis on Patreon, please consider doing it, because it would really help me continue my journalism and support independent media. So I'd be very grateful. And the links are in the description and also in the chat. Thank you guys very much again for all your donations and all your kind comments. I appreciate it very much.